Quick check in. Have you ever felt like you were giving more than you were actually being valued for? Yeah, let's talk about that. Welcome to the Balanced Recruiter, a slightly unhinged, definitely honest space where we talk about burnout, balance, and navigating life when it doesn't slow down just because we need it to. Hi, I'm Chastity, former trainer and recruiter turned beauty sales lead, proud puppy mom, professional laundry dodger. And I'm also someone who's been on both sides of these conversations. Honestly, if I could go anywhere right now, I'd be at an airport, boarding a one-way flight, no toilets to clean, no puppy toys to put away, no inbox, no just circling back emails, no proving myself, and no waiting to be seen. Just leaving with clarity. Because sometimes it's not about running away, it's about finally choosing yourself. And lately, I've been noticing a pattern that doesn't sit right with me, and I want to talk about it. So, I saw this post on LinkedIn, and it basically said companies will suddenly find the budget right after you've already decided to leave. And I just sat there like, yeah, that's exactly it. And I'm not even gonna lie, it kind of pissed me off because it's so true. And it's not just one situation that I've seen, it's a pattern. Companies drag people along, promising growth, promising opportunity, or hinting at opportunity. And then when you finally decide, okay, this isn't working out for me, that's when they want to keep you. Like, hello, if I've already come to the point where I am saying I am leaving, that means I've already been looking. And who knows how long that's been going on. And you may not have even noticed that I was looking, or maybe you did and thought I wasn't going to actually leave. And it's like, where was the energy before? Because at some point, it stops feeling like opportunity. And it starts feeling like you're being managed, perhaps even being dragged along, but definitely a lot of the times not developed. And that's the part that really, really gets me. When people are showing up, doing the work, bringing the value, but not being treated like someone with real growth potential. And eventually, that does something to your motivation. Not because you don't care, but because you finally realize this environment isn't built to support you the way you thought it would. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this isn't rare. I have seen this happen so many times. People will apply for a role. They're strong candidates too. They clearly bring value. And then somewhere along the process, they get downgraded. And not just in the position that's available or the position that they're being offered, but also in salary. I've heard people being offered less than what they were asking for, myself included. And you could have been told that there's potential salary increases within 90 days after the introductory period, or it could be 6 months or a year. Here's what I saw in the LinkedIn post that really got me, and it is so not far-fetched. It's speaking truth because this happens. A candidate comes in and we already know what the expectation is or what their salary expectation is because they put it down. And they may say, like, I want $122,000 because that's what I'm seeing the average median is, or that's what is being offered in other jobs. And we'll lowball and say, hey, there's so many growth opportunities for you. So let's be realistic, and we're going to offer you $97,000. It's a solid increase to what you're getting now, and you're going to learn a lot with the potential of growth. So within the first 90 days, the candidate is excelling, taking a lot of things under their wings. They're learning, they're excelling, they're doing great. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, someone snatches up this wonderful, hardworking candidate, and they were offered $138,000. Like, who would say no to that? If initially I was asking for $122,000 and you basically lowballed me, and now someone is offering me exactly what I'm doing with a lot of growth potential, but offering me more money. Okay, yeah. Sometimes I like to say it's not always about the money, but if I'm doing the same thing with the potential of growth and the potential of working with an amazing team, and I'm going to be getting a lot of money, I'm going to have to say, let's be real. A lot of people are going to say yes. They are going to resign. And to be honest, no HR manager, not your current manager, no one that you are resigning from can actually say anything. They can't be mad about it. They can't say, I wish you told us, because hello, you did. You did in the very, very beginning. And after 90 days, you have to have the constant touch bases with your people. Check in with them. How are they doing? What can we reflect on? How is their temperature? Are they happy? Because if you don't do that and you don't take care of your people, they have the potential to leave. There's a lot of amazing people out there, and sometimes we just don't see them for what they're valued. We just don't value them the appropriate way. Now, on the flip side, I have also seen people who don't meet the criteria and they get way more money than I feel like they should be getting. And that is another story that really rubs me the wrong way. When I see amazing people who put in their heart and their hard work and they get downgraded. The frustrating part is I hear things like, this is the budget for now. We'll revisit after performance. Or there's a ton of growth potential, but you don't see X, Y, and Z. And it sounds fine, possibly when you're being offered, until you realize that nothing changes. And that, my friend, is where the burnout starts creeping in. Because now you're working, you're hustling, you're learning. And within the first 90 days, that's when so many things are being poured into you. And this is now with the exception that eventually you'll be recognized, compensated, seen. But you're already giving the value. And instead of growth, you get silence. And the hardest part, you start questioning yourself. Am I asking for too much? Do I just need to prove myself a little bit more? When in reality, you already did. And then something shifts. You get tired. Not just tired of the work, but tired of feeling undervalued. And that's when people start looking. And suddenly, when you decide to leave, that's where the conversation happens. What would it take to keep you? We can revisit compensation. We didn't realize this. Why didn't you say something? And it's like, you did realize. You just didn't act on it. And I don't even think it's always malicious. Sometimes it's just reactive leadership. Other times it could be that they just move too fast and they haven't paused, waiting until something is about to be lost before deciding it matters. But the truth is, by the time someone is ready to leave, they've already processed it. They've already felt overlooked, underpaid, undersupported. And that counteroffer feels less like appreciation and more like panic. You shouldn't have to threaten to leave in order to feel valued. And if growth, support, or compensation only shows up when you're walking out the door, it was never really part of the plan. And that doesn't mean quit tomorrow, but it does mean pay attention to the pattern. And more importantly, pay attention to how it's making you feel. Thanks for hanging out with me today on The Balance Recruiter. If today's version of balance looks like recognizing your worth, even if no one else has said it yet, that's enough. And maybe choosing yourself doesn't look like a one-way flight, but it does start with a decision. New episodes drop every week, just in time for the weekend. Be sure to follow, share, leave a rating if you can. It helps this space reach someone who might need this reminder too. Remember, burnout is real, balance is the goal, and I'm somewhere in between checking out the one-way flight specials that's popping up in my crowded inbox. I'll see you on the next episode.